Good evening, Oswego, and welcome to WTOP 10 Sunday Night News, your connection to Oswego and beyond. I'm Adam Rupsick.
And I'm Kathy Roller. Today is Sunday, November 13th, and this is your news, sports, and weather, all before the first commercial break. Let's take a look at your top stories. 10 News starts now.
Economist Mario Monti was nominated Sunday to replace Silvio Berlusconi as Italy's prime minister. The prime minister resigned Saturday amid a financial crisis. Berlusconi's resignation is greeted with cheers and dancing in the streets. He is the second prime minister to resign this month over the debt crisis sweeping across Europe. Greece's George Papandreou also stepped down.
At Penn State's last home football game of the season against Nebraska, fans were tailgating as usual amid a shocking child sexual abuse scandal. Although legendary coach Joe Paterno was not in attendance, increased security measures are taking place at this weekend's athletic events. Last night, a candlelight ceremony was held for the victims of sexual abuse, and students are speaking out. Barbara Hall takes a look at how they're moving forward after the scandal.
More than 100,000 fans filled Beaver Stadium as Penn State kicked off the last home game of the season.
It's very strange. It almost feels like a cloud over the university. It's hard to tell what side of the fence you're on, too.
Right now, it feels like a normal game because we're trying to get over what happened.
A moment of silence was held before the game, and the two teams merged for a prayer for the victims, as fans reflected on the child sex abuse accusations that rocked the university last week and culminated in the firing of Coach Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno is family. I mean, I've only met him a couple times, but he's family. And what do you do? What would you do if he was attacking family?
Friday night, thousands gathered on campus to attend a candlelight vigil dedicated to the alleged victims.
It's so important to put the victims first. I think they've gotten really lost in all of this.
This wasn't about Joe Paterno. This was about the victims and us trying to help, raise awareness for what we're doing and how we're feeling right now.
And while the Penn State scandal remains in the national spotlight, there's another story coming to the forefront, a community coming together to heal.
I think that tonight perhaps we can see at least the first semblance of a silver lining with this whole incident. People want to move on.
I'm Barbara Hall reporting.
Yes, Kathy, a very heartbreaking scandal in Penn State. But we'll take a look at your current conditions with meteorologist Pat Kavlin. Pat?
Thanks, Adam. All right, taking a look at our current conditions outside right now. Beautiful, balmy night. We got a temperature right now about 59 degrees. That's just gone down a degree in the last hour. We've got cloudy conditions, and look at that, a very dry dew point of 33 degrees, so that's only giving us a relative humidity of 38%. Our winds, we have a stiff wind out of the south, upwards of about 20 miles an hour in the last hour, even gusting upwards of 25, so definitely a very breezy and mild night. In our future cast, we got some mostly cloudy conditions right through the middle of the week. Is that going to continue? I'll have your full forecast when we come back later in the newscast, but right now we're going to go back to the desk.
Thanks, Pat. We will sure look out for that warm weather. President Obama is in Hawaii for the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit.
The U.S. is hosting the event for the first time since the Clinton administration. Dan Lothian has a story.
Dressed for meetings with APEC world leaders and top CEOs, President Obama admitted he felt a bit out of place.
In all my years of living in Hawaii and visiting Hawaii, this is the first time that I've ever worn a suit.
And for those who still question his birthplace,
I know that was contested for a while, but I can actually show you the hospital if you want to go down there.
With that light introduction, President Obama served up the main course, stressing increased trade with the Asia-Pacific region and emphasizing the U.S. is open for business.
We've been a little bit lazy, I think, over the last couple of decades. We've kind of taken for granted, well, people will want to come here, and we aren't out there hungry selling America and trying to attract new businesses into America.
Asked to comment on the president's characterization of the problem, the CEOs of Google, Johnson & Johnson, and Caterpillar took a pass. But Eric Schmidt of Google said lazy is not a word he would have used.
I would not.
These business leaders do embrace the view that Asia offers big opportunities.
The fastest way to create more jobs in America then is to increase our exports to the fastest growing parts of the world, which happen to be in Asia.
Pushing trade and other shared global issues, President Obama met one-on-one with the leaders of China, Japan, and Russia, then hosted a dinner and attended a cultural program. Dan Lothian, CNN, Honolulu.
Rio de Janeiro police say they are in full control of the city's largest slum after a massive pre-dawn raid.
City authorities are trying to crack down on crime ahead of the 2014 World Cup and the 2016 Summer Olympics. Shanessa Darlington reports on the operation.
Carriers roll in and helicopters fly overhead. An astonishing invasion of enemy territory in the heart of Rio de Janeiro. In a pre-dawn raid on Sunday, hundreds of police and military took over Rocinha, Rio de Janeiro's biggest shanty town, wresting control from the city's bloody drug gangs. According to officials, without a single shot being fired. 3,000 troops, including 200 Navy commandos, participated in the operation, which lasted just 2 hours. Police hoisted their flag over the hilltop favela and declared they were in full control of Rocinha and neighboring slums where 120,000 people live. We're hopeful, says one resident. We were scared that the police were coming in and there were going to be shots fired, but now we're relaxed, no more fear. The massive operation is part of Rio's efforts to eliminate crime and end the reign of drug traffickers before the 2014 World Cup and the Olympic Games 2 years later. It's a historic day in Brazil, says Rio Governor Sergio Cabral, and very emotional for all those who live in Brazil, especially for those who live in Rio. Police have already pacified dozens of favelas, but it's an uphill battle. About 1/5 of Rio's residents live in the city's 1,000 shanty towns, perched on steep hills overlooking beachside condominiums. Last year, more than 30 people were killed during a similar invasion on another favela. This time around, police arrested Rocinha's top drug trafficker days before the operation. They found Antonio Francisco Bonfim, known as Nem, earlier this week in the trunk of a car. On Sunday, police captured automatic weapons, grenades, and plenty of drugs.
Now the hard work begins. Police have to set up a permanent presence to keep traffickers out and convince residents that after decades of neglect, they won't abandon them. Shasta Darlington, CNN, Sao Paulo.
And now we'll see what's going on in sports with Ross Bentley.
Thanks, Kathy. The #1 ranked Oswego State men's hockey team looked to add another SUNY victory this Saturday night as they took on Morrisville. But for the Lakers, things came much more challenging than they expected. A game Morrisville squad shocked the Lakers and the sold-out crowd in the Campus Center Arena with 3 goals in the first 23 minutes to open up a 3-0 lead. Oswego, however, would respond with 1 goal in the second and 2 in the third to salvage a 3-3 tie. The Lakers outshot the Mustangs 54-27, but Morrisville goalie Colin Breen was fantastic to lead Morrisville, who has just 1 win to this point in the season, to a surprising tie. For Oswego, it is their first tie since the 2008 5-5 draw against Morrisville, and they will continue their season when they face off against Fredonia and Buffalo State on the road next weekend. We'll be back later with more sports, but for now, back to the desk.
The body of a missing Fulton man has been found. Ray Gregory's body went missing after his car was found crashed and abandoned on a County Route 53 in Scriba. He has been missing since November 5th, last seen in Oswego. The body was found about 400 yards from the roadway in the field close to where Gregory's car was recovered. Rescue crews from New York and New Jersey have been working 24/7 to try to recover the body. The body was transported to the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's office. Gregory was 46.
Syracuse Hancock International Airport is calling for proposals from companies interested in providing security at the airport. The recently formed Syracuse Regional Airport Authority decided to request proposals in order to decrease security costs. Deputy Onondaga County Executive and Chairman of the Airport Authority, William Fisher, says he expects the committee to issue the request this week. Fisher says only companies that provide security at commercial airports will be considered. However, the airport does not plan to eliminate the use of police officers. The authority plans to keep officers on duty during all shifts and use private guards for the rest of the security needs.
A veterinary clinic in Syracuse offered care for a low price of just $10 today. Pet owners lined up for blocks to take advantage of this rare deal. The motion was set in place to help pet owners with financial needs get help for their pets. From cats to dogs to birds, they lined up. Tammy Deal took her pit bull Blue to the clinic and said, quote, "The price of going to the vet is just so ridiculous, but it is necessary."
All right, and we've got some really nasty storms moving through Michigan and Wisconsin. Find out if that's in store for our weather up next when we take a full look at your forecast. Stay tuned, you're watching WTOP 10 at 10.
You're watching WTOP, your home for Laker hockey.
SUNY Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Get your Smokey on. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm CNN's Rob Marciano, and you're watching WTOP 10, your television station.
Open Skate is back at the Campus Center Ice Arena. Students and area residents can enjoy recreational skating and practice at a low price. Open Skate is offered Sunday and Wednesday nights and Monday, Wednesday, Friday during the afternoon. Students and staff admission is $1 and resident admission is $3. Skate rentals can be picked up for $2. Open Skate will offer